It is time for the most interesting topics of all, dating Paraguayan women. And we have no other person here than the great Jessie, the charming Jessie, to tell us about her insiders. And I will tell you about our insiders, the insiders of Western men.
You ask something how Paraguayan women are, what they are expecting from dating. Most women, of course, they met like everyone in the world. They met Paraguayans here, men, and they form normally a family. They expect to form a family, but first of all, I think that years ago I started this new goal, and the goal is for all women is basically to have a professional career first and then commit with a relationship. And that's why normally we see here that many women are starting to have the goal of forming a family or getting married before they finish their career. So because we are really close to our families, this is the culture. Family is really important for us, for Paraguayan women. And normally, what when a foreigner comes from outside, they are expecting that the woman is totally independent from the family, but that not it's not the case. I mean, normally, if you know a new girl in Paraguay, they will say to you that if you want something formal or a relationship, you first have to meet my family, for example. That's very scary for most men that are coming from outside because that's not what they culturally they do. But in Paraguay, if you don't do that, it's a sign that you don't want something formal with a girl and you don't want to have a long-term relationship, for example. So first thing at all to know about women in Paraguay is that they are really attached to their families. Normally they study thanks to their family. They finish their university degree thanks to their family. They start working with their families or with someone close in Paraguay, and then they will think about having uh, a family or getting married or something like that. So the first goal for every woman is finish university or any other professional career. So most men are scared of that because they have to meet their families and they think that Paraguayan women are jealous, but that's not the truth. It's just part of the culture, part of the also the influence of Catholic religion. I think that most people want to form their family because in the Bible says so. So that's why it's a great goal, but also it's very influenced by the family culture. I don't know what do you think about it. What's the perspective of European men, really?
You made a fantastic point here, and people ignore it so often. They bring their habits to a new country and they expect people to be exactly the same as back home.
Mhm.
If that's your expectation, then why move? Why bother moving? That's not how it works. There are two types of cultures, I mean, two distinct types of cultures today. There are individualistic cultures, individualistic
Mhm.
societies. We're talking about Europe, Western Europe. I have to say, parts of Eastern Europe too, United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, parts of Asia already as well. So, and Latin America too. I mean, even Mexico is becoming more individualistic minded. When people come from an individualistic country, they believe that everything has to go by their rules. However, they perceive life works, it must be exactly the same in that country too. But that is not how it works, guys. The most important thing is to inform yourself about your host culture. Like everything, you want to eat and breathe that culture. You want to eat and breathe that environment. Otherwise, you can't make good decisions. Anyway, going back to the two distinct cultures that we have. So we talked about individualistic cultures, but then there are also collectivistic cultures or collectivist societies. And in a collectivistic culture, what's important is the family. People are very family oriented. And based on what you told me, that's also the case in Paraguay. Southeast Asia is a place where that is very, very normal. They're very communal. They value family life often more over other things, right? Family life is more important than individualistic success, than the success of an individual. People don't understand that. But the most important thing, as a European, as somebody who lived in so many different places, different continents, I integrated in different cultures. I speak 4 languages. I kind of know what I'm talking about. I've spent so much time abroad. I've had companies abroad. I have had girlfriends abroad too. So I've had a good amount of experience, good and bad. And what comes to mind is acceptance. You have to accept your host country. We're talking about the culture, the religion. Many people are delusional when they think they can move to Dubai and not accept the country for what it is. They say, hey, you have to accept the culture. Yeah, you have to accept the religion. Okay, that's the starting point. But it's not just about accepting it, you have to embrace it. You have to obey by local laws, you have to obey by local standards, by local routines. We're talking about the whole picture. And many people aren't citizens of any country. They never manage to integrate into the culture. They don't speak the language. They are not able to assimilate with the locals. They're living a westernized version of that lifestyle in that country, but they are not really part of the country. They're only living within their little community of other foreigners. They speak English. Let's say they live in Paraguay, they speak English, or let's say they live in Dubai, they speak English. Let's say they live in Thailand, they speak English, they don't speak Thai. So technically, they are not living in Thailand. They are just living in a, like different version, in a modernized, westernized version of that specific country. That's something that's important. If you want to be happy with a local woman, if you want to have a great time, acceptance is the core foundation. But on top of that, you have to embrace the culture. You have to embrace the habits. Part of it, not all of it, you cannot change completely, but you have to understand that you're in a different country and that country operates by a different set of rules. If you want to be happy with a local woman, and I think it's important here also to point that out, the woman should also be willing to make some sacrifices for you. It's important. It has to be like balance, but at the same time, you can't just go to a country blindly trusting that every person will be like you, every person will think like you, every person will do everything the way you are accustomed to it, because that's just not how it works. You have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to say, okay, I'm willing to do this, I'm willing to do that. This is my red line. I have certain red lines. You cannot cross that. You got to have this there. You got to have your playbook that you follow, and you can have great success. But I think that's the core foundation. What do you think, Jesse?
Yeah, I think you are right, of course. And I am very young, but what I see, for example, when uh, people from other countries are coming and they have advanced adulthood, so they are in their 60s or even 50s, for example, and it's more difficult for them to adapt in this new country and to learn a language, for example. So they find more support inside of cities where they can find more people from their own country. So basically, they build a new network with their own countrymen. So normally, it's more easy for them to adapt in that way and don't feel alone, because it's very, very difficult when you are older and you cannot find, it's not so easy to go outside and start chit chat with someone who doesn't speak your same language. So it's really difficult to understand the jokes, for example, or the culture, or the conversation is not so smooth. So that's why also many people cannot integrate so good, so well in the new country they are coming. And in the case of Paraguay, as I tell many times in the videos, we have a very long history welcoming people from all around the world. So in every city, these people, these newcomers, they find a support system with another immigrants, with countrymen, and they can easily get engaged or starting a new relationship with someone from their own country. But also we see here in Paraguay that most people that are coming from other countries are men. We don't see so many women that come and say, I want to be a resident. Normally, if they are coming, if women are coming to Paraguay, they already come with their families, I mean, with a husband and kids, but it's not so usual to see them coming alone. So there are more men that are coming here and they find themselves alone and willing to start a new relationship. But like you mentioned, the language barrier is really huge. And also, if you don't investigate and if you don't embrace this new culture, this new cosmovision of the people living in this country, you won't be able to connect so much with a new couple, with a new partner, for example. It's very difficult, but also as a person, you have to, I don't know, try your social abilities, but also your internal working. So you have to know yourself really well. And like you said, embrace and accept this new culture and how the people are. So finding love in every country is difficult, but it could be more difficult when you are not in your home country.
Very well explained.
Subscribe now and turn on alerts to never miss any of my future nomadism, dating, and business advice videos. Thank you for watching.